Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You saying salam to me or them?
You saying to me?
I'm saying to you. Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, this is Nasihat Sessions. This is the show in which you guys email us in and we try our best to respond to you, inshallah ta'ala. So today is an email that I actually received in September, and I haven't been able to reply to it because I'm not going to lie, for a long time I was like, I don't really know what to say to the sister. And wallahi, just, sometimes you get an email, and obviously because me and you are the only ones who deal with the emails, right? So sometimes you read an email and it really gets to you, it sticks in your head and keeps replaying in your mind again and again and again. Does that happen?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
So this is one of them ones. So basically, the sister, she emailed in September saying that she started practicing in Ramadan, like she used to wear hijab. She was going in. She's like, I was putting in so much effort. I was staying up all night because I was on the Knowledge College, which at the time was called Muslim Survival Guide. She's like, I was watching all of your videos, your series on fasting and everything. And she goes, at the same time, I had a boyfriend, but I wanted to make things halal. Me and him were supposed to get married in the summer. After the summer, sorry, right? She's like, everything was in place. His family knew, my family knew. She was like, he's from Pakistan, I'm from the Middle East. So, we were ready to get married. But she's like, suddenly out of nowhere in the summer, like after Ramadan, she's like, basically the guy turns around to her and he basically said, I don't want to marry you no more. So I'm actually going to read what she says because there's a lot of emotions involved. And I really want this to touch you guys, especially brothers who might be there taking advantage and playing around with girls. I really feel like, it's important for you to kind of hear the emotions that she's coming with, because this is what you might be doing to a particular girl, to a particular sister, someone's daughter or whatever have you. So she says, towards the end, she says, he degraded me because he took my virginity. I was going to live with his parents as he didn't have any money. She said, I truly loved him. And he turned around and said, I prayed to Allah to see if you're the right one for me. Now I don't love you. Shows that Allah saved me from you. She said, this sentence changed my whole life because I was so hurt. And I remembered all the times I prayed to Allah about him. While I was there praying for us to be together, he was praying to get rid of me. She said, he said, Allah saved him from me. He took my virginity and now I feel worthless. He's there all happy thinking, yes, I'm not sinning anymore. I don't have a boyfriend, blah, blah. But she said, I took off my hijab. I don't pray anymore. I don't even believe in anything. He literally ruined my life and thinks Allah saved him. And now he's being a good Muslim. Well, that's not true. She says, I really need advice. Please don't tell me it was a haram relationship, or that this is what happens when you place your love in other than Allah. And she says, or that your iman was too weak. Because at this point, she said, I feel blank. Why would God make him happy and not me? Why would God save him but wreck me? She said, I feel like a piece of beep. She said, I don't even make dua anymore. She said, advise these Muslim boys to not hurt girls and say, I don't want to marry you, because words could really get people and beep up their lives. Don't use Islam to explain your beep. And then she said, excuse my language. And she put a sad face. So, actually, there's a lot of issues in this email that I want to quickly just kind of, nip in the butt straight away. So there's nothing wrong with a brother genuinely making istikhara, Allah, is she good for me or not, or what? So that's not the point I want to discuss. There's nothing wrong if someone wants to make istikhara, ya Allah, is she good for me or not? And Allah, kind of, moving that person away from you. There's also nothing wrong with a person saying, I'm in a haram relationship, but I want to now make it halal, right? There's also nothing wrong with that, if that was really what the guy was doing. But there's some underlying factors that I think are important to address, and these are the two things, inshallah ta'ala, I think we could discuss today. First issue is to give comfort to the sister, the issue of qadr. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do this to her? Because that's really what she's asking, right? And she's now, she's like, the guy is the one who broke her heart, but she's taking it out on Allah, in a sense where she's like, I'm going to stop praying. I'm going to stop wearing hijab. We'll come to that in a second. Then the other issue is the issue of, like, guys, like, okay, alhamdulillah, in the end, you moved on, and, you decided she's not good to marry, but you've still destroyed her life. Like, you can say, Allah, is she good for me to marry? If not, let me, in the istikhara and, move her away from me or bring her to me. No problem. But the point is, in that process, you destroyed someone's life. And you could have prevented that from happening if you didn't get involved in the first place. So which one of the two should we start with? Let's start with the issue of Qadr?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah amma ba'd. The first thing I want to start with is not just before we get into those two, it's just a pre-introduction to not just the sister, but genuinely a reminder for all of us that the deen of Islam is a deen which is complete. It's Allah mentions that He's completed for us this deen, and He's completed upon us His blessings. So this deen is holistic. It covers all aspects of life, for every time and place, for every problem there's a solution. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions that there isn't any illness that's been sent down except there's a cure for it,
Sahih.
except for death. So when the person has a problem, the first aspect or places he needs to look for is Islam. Now, what happens is when a person is presented with these solutions, they may say, I've tried it and it hasn't worked for me. But I promise you, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, alladhi la yantiqu anil hawa, he does not talk based on desires, except what he talks is revelation, what Allah and His Messenger have ordered us to do. If we do it and follow it in the correct way, I promise you it will be the solution for us. So it may be a weakness in our understanding when we apply whatever the solution was or whatever the cure was. And also the Prophet ﷺ also mentions that the cure is out there, but the thing is, man jahila jahila wa man alima alima. Whoever doesn't know, and whoever knows, knows. So because you're ignorant of it doesn't mean it's not there. So, and the cure for ignorance is asking. So that's what I just want to give an introduction, because the sister mentioned, don't tell me, this, and don't tell me that, and some of those things she's brushing off are some of the, solutions that could be aiding her, So a person always says, what, brother, sister, I'm trying to leave off a sin. I've tried fasting. I've tried putting parental lock on my computer. I tried everything, and it still doesn't work. But the thing is these are the cures. It's just how you go about implementing it and understanding it. That's the importance. So that's the intro I wanted to give on. So that now we can go into the two main things that you wanted to go in, inshallah.
So I just wanted to say, obviously, so barakallahu fi for the introduction. She mentioned, like, why has Allah done this to me, right? So I want to say, sister, if Allah had done it for you, that was actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helping and aiding you. This is the way the qadr works. Remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's all powerful, so He's the one who makes things happen. He did make that. He allowed for that to happen. And He's also all wise, which means that everything that He allows to happen, there's a wisdom behind it. Now I want you to picture something. Imagine, back in the days when they used to, when someone used to have a disease on their leg, they'd amputate the leg, right? But the way they'd amputate the leg is that they'd saw it off.
Yeah.
So I want you to imagine, see, I've got this table here. Imagine this is a room. And inside there, I'm a surgeon, I'm a doctor, and I've got a person laid down there. And there's a door, and all you can see through the door is me cutting the guy's leg. You can't see everything else in the room. You can't see this is a surgery kind of, theatre, an operating theatre, operating room. You can't see that. Nor can you see that, I've got all these, surgical equipment and medical things. You can't tell I'm a doctor. All it looks like to you is I'm an evil man. I'm cutting some guy's leg off. And the guy's screaming, saying, no, stop. Why are you doing this to me? When you look through the door with that small little picture that you have, that small little insight, what would you think?
That you're torturing the guy.
You think I'm torturing, you think I'm evil, right?
Yeah.
But then suddenly when you come in, you're like, whoa. Subhanallah. No, you're saving the man's life with the permission of Allah. Because if you don't cut his leg off here, this is going to spread around his body and it's going to end up killing him.
Yeah.
So, وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلِ الْأَعْلَى. And the example of Allah is much greater and higher. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's qadr principally is in that, it works in that way, but greater, right? When I say I'm not trying to compare Allah to this, but I'm trying to say, obviously the example of Allah is high, but I'm trying to give you an example to understand. Is that sometimes you might see something happening, you only have a very limited insight. You've got one piece of the puzzle, but Allah has the puzzle piece. Sorry, you have one piece of the puzzle, but Allah has the puzzle set. Allah's got the whole puzzle. He's looking and observing at what could have happened if it didn't happen, and how it might have happened if it happened that way, and what might happen in the future, and what was to happen, and how history would have changed if something happened in a different way. Like, Allah has all possible scenarios and outcomes. He's encompassed it all. And then based upon that, Allah Azza wa Jal, He ordains for you the best path for you. So sister, it might be in this moment in time you feel very distressed and sad and hurt, but this is khair. Allah is helping you, because it could be that this person would have been leading you to your destruction. This person could have been first and foremost terrible for your religion. It could be a person that will take you to the hellfire. I mean, okay, he's maybe practicing now, but who's to say he won't start practicing tomorrow? Okay, maybe he did start practicing. How do you know he didn't start practicing some different sect? Like some people, they start practicing, right? But then he becomes a Sufi. So then he starts worshipping graves. And if you marry him, you might follow him and become a kafir. What if he becomes a Shi'i? What if he becomes another innovator? As we know, there's 73 sects. 72 will go to the hellfire. Only one will be saved. How do you know he's not from the other 72 sects who are going to go hell? We don't know this. He could stop practicing later on in his life. And maybe if he's not going to damage your akhirah, what he might do is he might have been an abusive person. Sometimes you think you know someone. How many times have we seen a very happy couple in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, but when they get married, he's abusive, he beats her, he does this, he does. Or maybe, you would have just lived a terrible, depressing life, but Allah saved you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved you. The point is that the outcome for you and him, the best outcome was for you to not be together. Otherwise, Allah would have made you be together. Does that make sense? So now it doesn't make sense that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like imagine, bring it back to the analogy of the doctor. The doctor is trying to cut my leg off because, it's going to be better for me. And then when he does that for me and he saves my life, okay, I had to go for a bit of pain, but it was better for me. In response, I'm like, you know what, forget you. I'm not going to pay you your bills. I'm not going to respect you. I'm not going to come to you ever again. I'm not going to come to you for any help that I have in the future. That would make me a very ungrateful patient. And it would make me a very stupid patient, right? So the same way, it doesn't make sense, my honorable noble sister, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he puts you through this pain because it's good for you, it's better for you. He's trying to take you away from a greater harm. And in response, what do you say? You say, Allah, I'm going to take off my hijab. I'm going to stop praying. Sister, wallahi, taking off your hijab, it's not going to harm Allah. My sister's going to harm you. You know all that will happen in this life is that your beauty will be shown to another guy might take advantage of you, and then you'll be hurt again. Or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may inflict you with this punishment in the next life. Leaving the prayer, my sister, is kufr. Let's not beat around the bush. Abandoning the prayer. The Prophet said, Man taraka salatu asfa qad habita amalu. Whoever leaves even the asr prayer, one asr prayer, he fell into kufr, all his deeds are nullified. So what about a person who leaves the entirety of the prayers? My sister, wallahi, do not turn against the very one who's there to help you, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And do not, is a man worth going to hell for? He might have been a waste man, wallahi, like you said, he violated you and took your dignity away and made these false promises and whatever have you. I'm saying, without even knowing his side of the story, let's just say for argument's sake, I'm fully on your side, I'm fully with you. Like, my sister, is he worth going to the hellfire for? I mean, there's a greater pain that you're going to experience on the day of judgment, which is the pain of having left the prayer. Right now, you're feeling the pain of him leaving you, right? Imagine the pain of you having left the prayer. Sister, there's no paradise for that person. There's no, and imagine on the day of judgment, Allah says to you, when that happened, I was only doing it. I was only doing it to help you in the first place. And then Allah might even, even bring out to you what the possible outcome might have been, and how it would have been even worse if you were with him. And a person would feel so stupid thinking, right, Allah, you're actually trying to help me. But you don't have to wait for that day, because Allah already told you in the Quran that when he does something, he does it with wisdom. He does it for you. He's taking care, he's helping you. Look at the story at the end of Surah Al-Kahf. I don't want to go on too much. So you want to add on anything to that?
I just wanted to mention also that's it. The importance, for example, our purpose of creation was for ibadah, for worship. As Allah mentions that he did not create the mankind or jinn except to worship him. So from the means of worship is marriage, which is a form of worship as well, including the salah and everything else. But what's happening now are people are turning the means into the goal now, and marriage has become some people's goal and aspiration, just for them to be married, to become a mother and whatnot, and forgot the ending of it. So when that's the means has now become the goal, when a person doesn't achieve it, or he doesn't attain it, or he attains it in some sort of portion, or he doesn't attain it in the image which he perceived it or she perceived it to be, then the person becomes disappointed and becomes sad and becomes, depressed and feels like this is a form of torment. But at the end of the day, you have to realize that this was a means of worship for you to worship Allah, to attain His pleasure, and from that you enjoy yourself as well. So what I was saying is that the understanding of marriage is that we need to take it from the angle of, you know what, it's something which is a worship. Because now it's a worship, it has a structural form which we need to take in order to attain it. Just like the salah, you can't pray how you want to pray. There's a way for it. The Prophet ﷺ taught us in all aspects of worships. So the person can't just come now and say, you know what, for Asr, I want to pray 6. And for Dhuhr, I want to pray 10. For Fajr, you know what, I want to pray it at sunset. I don't want to pray at sunrise. And start changing around these kind of things. So the same with marriage is, you know, when a person's going in, you can't now say, because we're in a different time, and say, you know what, what's suitable to then, things need to be added here and there at that time. And you know what, I need to take the means of getting to know the person. And as soon as you step out of that realm, then calamity will befall the person. And how is a person supposed to attain barakah from this when he's taken a means other than that of the Prophet ﷺ? So just to understand that our purpose of being on this earth is for ibadah. And from that, marriage is a means and not a goal. Just like you eat so you don't become hungry. Your goal is not to eat. Your goal is to eat so you get energy and move on and do ibadah, do whatever activity. Not, you know what, my purpose is to eat. Otherwise you just be an idiot, you know, preparing yourself just to only eat. That's just a means. So that's just very important, you know, just that your whole life is not over. Not, you know, not that I'm saying, but just, Qadar Allah, this has happened. But alhamdulillah, it's an opportunity, like the brother mentioned, that you're still alive. You still have the opportunity to change your life. And, you know, as for you leaving hijab and leaving the salah and everything, you know, you should ask yourself, what was the beginning of you doing all of this? Not just you, just anyone who leaves something when something doesn't go their way. Like Allah mentions that there are people who worship Allah on their edge. They're on the harf. If good, you know, comes their way, then, you know, they are in worship. But then as soon as, you know, they're afflicted with some sort of harm, that's when it all goes downhill for them. So we always need to check ourselves, you know, is that don't be deceived as, you know, like shaitan gives that deception of certain people that, you know what, so-and-so's got money, so-and-so's got, you know, wealth and everything, and this person's not practicing. Or this person's not even Muslim. Like what's happening right now. Non-Muslims have wealth, you know, good life. He's got many kids. They're all healthy and everything. And the believer's sitting there thinking to himself, you know what, I'm living, you know, I don't have much money. You know, I worship Allah, this and that. That's a deception from the shaitan, because this world doesn't mean anything in the sight of Allah. The one who created it, Allah, if this world meant even in the sight of Allah the weight of a fly, the wing of a fly, then Allah would never give anyone who didn't worship Him alone water. So, you know, these kind of concepts which shaitan now comes to you, sister, in this low time to deceive you and say, you know what, you know, you try to practice and you try to do good, and look what happened. Look what he said. Allah said, he said he made dua and Allah took him. He said Allah saved him. So if Allah saved him and you was trying to practice, these all kind of, it's just waswasa. So I'm saying, assess yourself in the beginning. Why was you doing what you was doing? You know, if it was for the sake of Allah, then Allah will guide you through this problem, sister, and anyone else who's going through anything.
Alright, barakallahu feek, man. Just, you know, what the brother Guled, he mentioned that, you know, the goal was to worship Allah. So in other words, the goal is Allah. The means, marriage is a means by which you can complete half your deen, which is the means that you can worship Allah. So this is my point, you know, because the sister said, you know, don't say this what happens when you place your love in other than Allah. But sister, that's exactly what happened, because the goal is Allah. But now, in your heart, you made this person in your heart. You placed him where Allah, the love of Allah, was supposed to be. So you gave him more love than you gave to Allah.
If you cross a red light now, and then you get fined, they give you 3 points or whatever. Are you gonna say, you know what, me crossing that red light is you know, don't tell me crossing the red light is gonna give me a ticket. But that's the law. You crossing that red light, you will get a ticket. These things that which Allah mentioned is already, you know, Allah told us anyone who puts their love in other than Allah, then that thing they put their love in will punish them in that form. That's the sunnah of Allah.
Yeah.
So for you to now come and say, you know what, you know, don't tell me, it's already written. You can't just tell the officer, you know what, officer, don't tell me you're gonna give me.
Well, it's like saying, you know, a person jumps off a building, you know, and he falls. Well, don't tell me that's how gravity works. That's how gravity works.
Yeah.
You let something go above height, it's gonna come crashing down.
Yeah.
And like you said, this is exactly what Imam Ibn al-Qayyim said. He said, anyone who places their love in other than Allah, then they will be made they will be made to be punished by the very thing that they place their love in.
Yeah.
Do you see? Like if I place a vase at the edge of the table,
Mm.
I placed it so edge that it's gonna fall, right? I placed it so close to the edge that it's gonna fall. If it gets knocked over, it's gonna fall. Do I blame the table for breaking the vase, or do I blame myself for placing it there on the table where it wouldn't be able to stand? I blame myself for placing it there. So now a person has to take responsibility and blame themselves for placing that person in their heart. Do you see where I'm coming from? If I place, if I try to hold my weight on a twig on a tree, is the twig gonna snap? Of course it is, because the twig wasn't built, wasn't created and made to be able to support my weight. Do you see? So the silly one and the stupid one was me. I'm not saying you're stupid, I'm stupid. I'm saying I'm stupid. The stupid one would have been me for trying to put my weight on there. The same way the heart wasn't created to hold a weight and the expectations that of a human being. It can't support that, because the human being will never be able to fulfill it. The only one who can fulfill that is Allah. And wallahi, sister, I swear by Allah, if your love for this boy was really that deep, I promise you on the Day of Judgment that would have been a problem for you. So Allah has saved you, my sister, because look what Allah said in the Quran, that when the people in the hellfire, they will say, إِذْ نُسَوِّيكُمْ بِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. They will say to the people that they used to love, we used to make you equal. We used to make you equal to Allah. Now they're in the hellfire. Allah mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 165, the believers, right? They are the ones who truly love Allah. And there are some who take other people as equals when it comes to loving Allah. Allah said, these people, they're going to be separated. وَتَقَطَّعَتْ بِهِمُ الْأَسْبَابِ. Their relationship will break on that day. On the Day of Judgment, they're going to be heartbroken. There's going to be breakups. On the Day of Judgment, you're going to see so much breakups. So much breakups. Why? Because you found people loving people, other humans, the way they were supposed to love Allah. And what happens is that then that person becomes a god, and then you're doing shirk. You're actually worshipping someone besides Allah, because love is a form of worship, right? Now here's the thing, sister, sometimes we're so blinded and we're so deeply invested in our attachment to a person that we want to active, and that attachment is unhealthy. That attachment is leading to shirk. And we're so attached that we're not going to step away from ourselves. So what does Allah do? He subhanahu wa ta'ala, through His mercy, comes and He forcefully separates us. And we're sitting there thinking, no, why? But we don't realize is that why is because it was actually saving from a greater loss. And it now gives you an opportunity to come closer to Allah and reprioritize and define the direction you're headed, and make the objective and the goal Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you see where I'm coming from, akhi? So make that the goal. And then you know what? You know when you do that, Allah Azza wa Jal might bring back to you that which you took away. Like look at
Better.
yeah, or even better, right?
Yeah, even better. Bring something even better.
Like Ismail alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Ibrahim, his son, to sacrifice his son. And when Ibrahim did that, at the time when the blade was coming down, he was ready to sacrifice his son. What he was saying was, Allah, even my son is not before you in my heart. But then when he did that, and his heart was pure and empty and full only with the love of Allah and the pleasure of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He allowed his son to live. So that which went came back.
Yeah.
Allah will bring back to you that which He took away. Look at Ayub alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took away his family, his wealth, his health, everything.
Yeah.
But Allah brought it all back to him. And better. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes something away, He will bring it back. If not, He will replace it with something even better. But only when you redefine and reposition yourself. Anything you want to say, or should we go to the guys quickly, just sum it up?
Yeah, just that, sister, like you mentioned, you're still alive, alhamdulillah, you still have the opportunity. It's better to lose a limb than to lose your whole life. You could still make that change, and alhamdulillah, you're still alive, sister. And if the person who loves you most on the earth is your mother, anyone's mother, it's the person that loves them the most. Mother, or whatever the son or the daughter does, the mother is, my son or my daughter, that love is still there. Allah loves you more than your mother. So, just, you still have the opportunity, and that's it. Just take benefit now, alhamdulillah, while you're still alive.
Okay, just as for the guys, because we've already gone too long, all I will say is this, is that the scholars say one of the ways that Allah punishes a guy who violates a girl like this is that it will come back and it will happen to either your sister or your daughter or your mum or your auntie, one of the women in your life. Al-jaza'u min jinsil amal. A person will be rewarded with that which they did. You do good, you get good. If you do bad, you get bad. So just and I'm telling you, I've seen this so many times. Guys who play girls, in the end, their sisters are the ones who are getting violated by every guy on the block. Every guy in the ends is doing the same thing to his sister. Or may Allah protect you, your daughter, which is going to be even more painful. So wallahi, fix up, man. Fix up. Anything you want to add, akhi?
Yeah, that's scary. Like, that Allah is merciful, Ghafur Rahim, Al Hakim. But from that is, Allah's punishment is shadid as well. And Allah is one who is a retributor, as they say. So at the same time, don't forget this. You may think you've got away. You may not be seeing the effects now, but I promise you there will be a day that it will come back to you if the person doesn't repent from it. So it's something to take heed from. You may not see it now, but don't be that one who says, "Ya laytani." I wish that I could go back and or change. And so wallahi, it's something to be scared of. Honestly, that you play around with someone's. Not just their whole existence. You're just playing around with it, and you just leave them, and you think you can move on like that. If the person doesn't repent from it, they'll, like you said, man, that's wallahi, that's it.
Especially, you know what, you actually, when what you're doing, like, because this guy obviously seems like somewhat practicing, right?
Yeah.
And when you violate a girl, and it will make her think, oh, look at these religious guys, look at the way they like. And that could also cause her to end up leaving a religion. Now look at the sister situation, subhanAllah, man. I'm really scared because she left the prayer. And we said, the prayer, the consequence of it is kufr. And I'm not saying that she's a kafira, but I'm saying, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So, prevention is better than cure. Yeah, and just final thing, just literally one sentence I'll say on this. For those of you who are paying attention and might not be in this exact same situation, know that the way to avoid this whole mess is to have just obeyed the command of Allah in the first place, which is to lower your gaze, to not even look at the opposite sex, because that would have stopped you from talking to them, stopped you from linking them, stopped you from chatting to them, building a relationship from the beginning. Just lower your gaze. Wallahi, lower your gaze. Prevention is the cure. Hey guys, I really hope that you benefited from that video. Before you go, I want to ask you a really important question. Have you guys ever thought about studying Islam and seeking knowledge? If not, then I want you to reflect upon this hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet said that seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every single Muslim. Of course, that doesn't mean you have to be a scholar, but you have to know the basics in order for you to be the best possible slave and worshipper of Allah that you can possibly be. So we decided to provide a solution for this. You see, many people want to study, but they don't have the means or the resources to do so. So we set up an online institute called the Knowledge College, where you can study Islam from the comfort of your own home. So if you want more information on the Knowledge College and you'd like to sign up, go to the link below, check out the website, and hopefully we'll see you on the other side. Assalamu alaikum.